Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Legends from the Past and the Future show. Roger, how you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great, brother. Everything's lovely right now. We don't have no snow. The weather been decent. I can't complain.
Yeah, for real, man. What do you think about the Boston Celtics, man? You think they're gonna win another NBA title this year?
I don't know. They seem to be on track though. Because LA. I don't. They went and got that dude. That didn't do anything.
You don't think so?
And I looked at the game the other day. Him and dude arguing on the court.
Wow.
In the end of LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron told him go do something. He shook his head no. And they're arguing on the court. They already having conflict. But what's his name? The brother that used to play with LeBron at Cleveland, the one got the real good handles. He said it was going to be
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie said it was going to be a problem. He said because he said the other guy said he don't listen. He said if it ain't about him, he's not going to listen. So we'll see how it turns out though. But I don't think that was a good matchup.
Well, you know what? One thing we got to look forward to, Roger, next month is our event, 22nd of March. You ready for it, man?
I was born ready.
Yeah. Well, we got another edition.
We kept the dress code casual though, right?
Yeah, business casual.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Now,
well, we got a band that's going to be on the show or performing that night. The band Shine Band. What you see listed there, where you purchase your tickets at, dude. We're looking forward to seeing everyone there on the 22nd of March. Half the proceeds is going to scholars and internships. The other half is going back into the show so we can continue giving you the best product there is. But we got a nice show tonight, Raj. This brother is coming to the show. He's in Pennsylvania. We may have to slap some house rules on him if he start that Philadelphia.
Well, that's you with those house rules.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna put it on him, man. Look, we're gonna have some problems.
Man, you can't be hating, man. Because if y'all had won it, there wouldn't been no rules, man. So you can't be. Just like I told you last year, all y'all needed was a quarterback. I told you that. Yeah. And now you definitely gonna run. It's gonna, but if they move Philly out, that's gonna be like us in Pittsburgh. Y'all in Philly gonna be like us in Pittsburgh. Every game gonna be a Super Bowl. Every time they play, it's like a Super Bowl game.
Let's go ahead and bring them to the stage, man. You ready for them?
I'm ready.
Hey, everyone, coming to the stage is none other than the legendary Fredrick Allen Walker.
No motion, ain't having no motion when you stuck in one place. Deep be jealous, can see in their face. Ain't reading no comments, so can't see the hate. I be chasing them back, so I'm staying up late.
What's going on, Fred? How you doing, man? Unmute your mic, bro.
Yeah. How's it going, Roger? How's it going, Armand? How y'all doing?
How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Thank y'all for having me on y'all platform. I was really excited to be here, to kind of share my story. I was I've been promoting this and telling people I haven't done nothing like this. So it's an honor to be here, and you can't tell First Sergeant Wild as anything. You can't tell him no. So, you got to go ahead and do it when he asks you to do something. That's
that. That is. But I need you to do me one before we get started, Fred. My right, your left. See, that's the military. Could you drop your left shoulder just a little bit so that trophy can keep staring arming in his
face? I got you. Yeah. I want him to see that.
Help me out. I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate that, Roger. I was blocking a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Now we on.
House rules was going on.
I'm gonna tell you what now, Mr. Fred Walker. All right. You violated rule number 1 of my house.
The host asked me. I gotta apply what the host asked me to do.
There you go. Airborne. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Airborne over here. Definitely. Well, thank y'all again, man. Appreciate it.
I tell you what, Fred. You know what, man? I'm gonna let you get away with that. Don't let anybody know that you were able to break a house rule on a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Okay, all right. But anyway, let's go down memory lane, man. We're gonna travel back through the time tunnel, Fred. Okay, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where were you born and raised?
Oh man, I was born in Philadelphia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and raised there until I was about 18 years old. And I learned some valuable lessons in Philadelphia, just like we all do. It kind of shapes us of who we are and where we starting off at. North Philadelphia, pretty rough place when growing up there, and just learning how to navigate life. You know what I mean? As a kid, as an adolescent, dealing with most of the things that a lot of us go through during that time frame. Drugs, alcoholism. Things that they got a lot of counseling and a lot of services for now. We had to figure that stuff out on our own. But just going through that process and learning some valuable lessons that helped me in life to this day.
Wow. Well, what are some of the things that you've done while growing up, man? Were you actively involved in sports, or what some of the things that you have done? And who are the people? Who did you look up to the most?
Man, that's funny. You should say that. So played basketball for Strawberry Mansion. Was supposed to go to Shaw University. At the time, I was just so ignorant. I was like, I'm not going to no Shaw University. That's not a good school. But realizing that it's HBCU number one, and could have got some great assistance with the coaching staff and stuff like that. I wasn't really that great in high school. But as time progressed and I went into the military, I worked on that and stuff like that. But I had some great people during that time frame that helped me along the way in high school. Some people in the military that helped me along the way. I want to definitely jot down a couple people. Dale Rome, which was my stepdad. Shout out to him. He's in Florida. He was a great influence for me, a great support system. That was my brother's father. A guy by the name of Sergeant Ratcliffe. I don't know where he was at, but when I was like a private in the military, this guy pulled me to the side and seen the value of who I was as a man. When you first coming off the streets, you go through basic training, you go to a unit. But this guy saw my potential, and I was the first person that I want to give credit to who helped me out a lot and helped me see things from a different perspective and shake that Philly street stuff. And really seen value in me. So awesome. Yeah.
Now, before I pass you to Roger, you went to college, and just to let you know, Mr. Fred Walker, all right, the only people that can give shout outs on this show is myself, Roger. Okay, you gave it, you broke another rule. Okay, hey, but did you graduate from college?
I did. I went to University of Maryland, and then during my military time frame, I moved around a lot. So I wound up graduating from Toro University online. That was a big thing. Online colleges was a big thing back when we were in, and that was like we were like one of the first generation of people to go through online colleges. Now it's anybody can now, but that was big back then, especially for military members who couldn't get into the classroom and stuff like that. And that helped us with promotion, because we would be in the field. So it was pretty cool to have that ability to go online. But yeah, I graduated from Toro University, but I went to the University of Maryland as well.
That's awesome. What was your major?
Business. My major was business. I've always been intrigued with business as a kid. Even in, growing up in Philadelphia, I was very, very intrigued with just, becoming a business mogul.
Yeah. And it shows. It really shows, man. In your walk with what you do and it's just awesome. Awesome what you've done, man. You were once a producer. Is that correct?
Yeah. I guess that's loosely. I would say like I was just more. I was finding talent, and it's funny. We could kind of dive into that. It's interesting because we got an interesting story from NPRI. You remember a guy by the name of Keith Griffith? You remember him?
Yeah.
So for everybody on the platform, I used to run around. Wallace was my supervisor, and I used to run around and create these rap battles during lunch. Do you remember that?
You mean I do? Yeah.
So we had this guy by the name of Keith Griffith. He came in like real. He was like a real hard dude, can't be broken. And I used to mess with him. He knew that I was really big in York and producing and talent. And he would tell me all the time, "No, man, I ain't battling. I don't do that." Da, 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 da. And I forgot the one guy name that was a rapper in the warehouse. I can't think of his name, but he's from Baltimore. And I got them to battle during lunchtime. And Keith tore him a new hole in life. And I kind of promoted this throughout the warehouse, and people loved it, and it was pretty cool. That was when we had the second warehouse, so it was like, it wasn't in the main warehouse, but we had a second warehouse, right, Wallace? It was like in the cut somewhere.
That's
and
true.
People gathered around, and I was like one of my promotions that I did at work, which is crazy. It was during lunchtime, but it was at work. But I have been doing a lot of rap battles. I love rap battles. I think it's very creative for people to be able to come off of their head and rap about their life or rap about somebody else. And during that time frame, I was a CEO of Streetwork Entertainment. I had a label called Streetwork Entertainment. Mm-hmm. And I would find talent. Shout out to you said no more shout outs, but Echo was one of my one of my talent people who would find talent. And we had people that was under our label, and we would go around to different places. And that's how I started. And then I started throwing shows like Chris Brown. I think I did a show with Chris Brown. We did a show with Young Jeezy. And I realized at that time that in order for my team to shine, I had to book these artists and then have my team open up for them. That was the business sense in me and during that time frame. So, that's how I would do it. I would get sponsors and, get people engaged and involved. I would get local people, barbershops. I would give them tables. They would sponsor. I put their name on a flyer. So, you start understanding the business side of things, as you're running your business.
So I'm going to ask you one more question before I pass it to Roger. What sparked your interest in music?
In music?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my cousin gave me these turntables. And at the time, being a DJ was like the best thing. So, learning from DJ Jazzy Jeff, Cash Money, all of those guys that Tap Money from Philadelphia, that was a big thing to learn how to, scratch on the turntables. I'm quite sure you and Roger remember those days where the DJ was more important than a rapper at that time.
Absolutely.
And that's what really started. And then my cousin gave me some turntables. He got older and gave me some turntables, and I used to scratch on the record, It's Time. And I used to use that record, It's Time, and you know what I mean, try to time it and do what I need to do. And that's what really started me in the music and wanting to know, and just listening to just different artists and from Philadelphia, Steady B, 3 Times Dope. Music at that time was very explicit, so you had to get permission from your family to listen to music, that had cuss words and all that in it. So absolutely.
Okay, Roger, on you, and you can give a shout out, man. I was just playing about that, okay?
Okay, absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna do it on Roger because Roger let me do what
that's what I'm talking about. Because and always brief us, because we had meetings like we're a big corporation. So it's all about the guests. The guests could do what they want, and then he get a guest on here that's in the NFC or the NFL, and he start putting out all these rules. They can't breathe. They got to hold their breath for a certain time. Only one eye could be open. They got to be fully dressed. None of that applies when I'm talking. I don't care what you got going on. You give all the shout outs you want because it's all about you. And I ain't trying to throw no dirt on Arm, and I love him. I love him more than some of my own blood brothers. But he ain't airborne. That's just me and you. So we
ain't airborne. Oh man, Roger, we can talk then. Now we jumping out of planes, Roger. He don't know nothing about that.
Everybody can't exit from an aircraft while in flight, brother. You know that. Okay. If I run up to you and say hit it, you know what to do. You say it to Arm. He gonna turn around and get ready to fight. That's my boy, though. I noticed, though, looking at your bio, you was up there at Fort Lewis, correct?
Yes, I was at Fort Lewis.
So you didn't. I saw you did the Special Forces thing. You didn't cross over to the Ranger side?
No, I didn't. I didn't do that. I was there supporting, but I
Mhm.
love that. I love supporting the Green Berets. I was in First Special Forces Group out there in Fort Lewis on the compound. That's a, Sergeant Major. That's a different world. You know what I mean? So when
Oh, absolutely.
you there, they call each other by first names.
Right, right.
It's really laid back. It's relaxed. These guys know what they need to do. And we supported them all around the world logistically. We had to get them any place in the world within 24 to 48 hours. Equipment, personnel, everything. They had skids. I had to coordinate with the Air Force to get them from point A to point B, and they had to be there within 48 hours. So it was a great experience to be in First Special Forces Group. I learned a lot from there. One of the stories that I will share with you guys, and I took this throughout my entire life, is that the Sergeant Major, they wasn't really a big sports team in Special Forces. Of course, you got Rangers and different things. And I get there and I'm noticing they don't have no basketball team or anything like that. And I'm talking to Sergeant Major in front of the whole town hall, like, hey, it don't seem like there's a lot of diversity here. Ain't a lot of emphasis on sports and team building.
Right.
And the Sergeant Major, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name at this moment, but he put me on the spot and he was like, you go ahead and set it up. And I set it up and we created a basketball team. And one of the things, Roger, is that it created cohesiveness. It created teamwork.
There you go.
You had whites and blacks on there again. And then, people out in the world don't really understand this, but there was a divine line between support mechanisms and actual Green Berets. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we didn't really interact with each other or cross into each other's path. You did your job, they did their job. And creating a basketball team helped us know that we had a lot more in common than we had differences. And we did really well. I still have the jersey. My wife was looking at it the other day. I still have the jersey. It has 3-1. It was like a Lakers jersey, shorts and a shirt. And it was great. We got the unit to pay for it. So it was really good. I had a great time out there, out in the, out near Mount Rainier.
Yeah, the only thing about Seattle, it rained out there a lot.
It does.
I was in 1st and 325.
Okay, yeah.
And we used to play on the basketball court. 7 Special Forces, we shared a basketball court with them. Man, I'm telling you, those games at lunchtime, they was like playoffs. I mean, First Sergeant Major, all them would be sitting out there with them lawn chairs.
Yeah.
You thought it was just a pickup game, but I'm talking about throwing down. Yeah, man. Oh my God, best of times. And
absolutely.
Yeah, you can never replace those times. But when it came to mission, it was just like you said, 82nd had a whole different type of mission from the Special Forces.
Yeah.
They gave them 24 hours. We gone at 18.
Yeah.
They gave them 24, 48. We was gone. Wheels up. We're on DRF1. You gone. I don't know how many times I went to work on Monday and came back 4 or 5 Mondays later. But it all paid off, and we did what we did, and we all had. Now, what with all the things that you had going on, right? And I'm looking at your bio, which is excellent, by the way. I'm taking that stuff and moving on mine.
Absolutely.
It won't work. It won't work because of the age difference. Because wait a minute, now ain't no way. But what out of all that stuff right there, what drove you to get out and proceed and to go the route that, because it seemed like your military career was on track.
It really was. So I'll tell you, I was when I got out, I was E6 promotable. I made the list. I was E7. I made the list, and it was an exciting time. And I wound up leaving. I was teaching at Howard University. I was teaching cadets at that time at ROTC, a cush position, after you come from First Special Forces and just doing, that type of work. And I had my first daughter, and what I had to evaluate, I was juggling. I had a Sergeant Major when I was out processing, and he told me, he said he lost his family. He said that he put all his dedication into the military, and he lost his family. And seeing that, I was like, I didn't want to be. I think when we're all in the military, we feel like we're irreplaceable, and we feel like we're mission driven. We're it's just stuck in us to do that. Your mission. whatever that is. And you don't really, I seen so many people have sacrificed families and don't have relationships with their children and
Right.
lost families and stuff like that. And the military don't pay you for that.
No.
And I think that what I started realizing as my daughter was born, I was like, I don't want to be that dad. I want to be in her life. I don't want to be deployed. I don't want to be just kind of just continuously just focused on the military, because what I started realizing is that you're replaceable. Somebody's going to outprocess. Somebody else is going to come in. They're going to take that position. That is a fine oil well machine. You know what I mean? I'm going to learn. You know what I mean? So, you know, I started kind of realizing that, and that's when I took the leap of faith, and I got out, and I actually started working at NPRI at that time. And I started realizing my value. I started realizing the things that they had taught me, the knowledge and things that I received, and how it transitioned into the civilian world, and how valuable I was, how valuable my clearance was.
There you go.
Valuable, you know, just the different certificates and things that I had, and how that transferred into, you know, civilian world.
Yeah, you know, you've done extremely well, but you know what? I'm gonna go on and give him his props. I've never gave Armin his props. I'm so proud of Armin when he got out the military. Don't tell him I said this though. But when he got out the military, you know, then he went into a government job. He did outstanding with that. He had an outstanding military career. Because, you know, after somebody he did over 20. They kind of on the back, and, you know, it's like the energy is not the same. But this dude right here, I'm older than he is, so I can call him. This youngster, you know, he kept right on pushing, man. I'm super proud of that dude, man. You know,
he did, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm gonna tell you one other thing, Roger. The other thing that he did was he brung the whole Annapolis with him. Like that was I value him so much, and seeing how he handpicked all those different people. You know, from Renee to all of those, shout out to Renee too, to all of those people from Annapolis. He brought them all to Middle River and gave them jobs, man. And I mean, I was like, man, it was like bringing all his brothers, man. He was protected. He had like bodyguards and all that in there. I don't know what he was doing, but yeah, he had bodyguards and all that in there.
Well, let me ask you one question. He ain't bring me though, did he? I don't know where he was at the time, Roger, but he was bringing them. I tell you, he was bringing them. He brought my cousin though, because they played football together. See, so he ain't bring me. No, man, I was in a long time, man. I did 30, but so when I came back, I did get in contact with him though when I started my business. He turned me on to some people, and I didn't go to the level that I wanted to, because I got to the point where when I had money coming in with it, and I was like, you know what, I don't have to do this, and I just did not feel like, you know, being responsible. Because as it started to grow, then you're talking about, you know, you're gonna have to get insurance for your employees, and I said, what the, you know, so I said, you know what, I just backed off because I didn't want it. I might invest in that again because I got some other ideas I'll run by Armin, and but it's not. But enough about me. It's all about you, brother. I mean, I'm so proud of you, man. I was looking at your bio, and I had my favorite show on TV, Justice League, because, yeah, I look at Animation 65. And I started looking at your bio. I missed like 4 or 5 episodes of my show. I had to go back and look at it again, man. You know, I wish everybody that's watching, you know, if you got a chance, it's on Facebook. Look at this man's bio. I mean, it's beyond impressive. If it was a better word than impressive, I don't know it yet because I ain't that smart. I only got 4 degrees. But if that's him, that's this guy right here. Yeah. You know, the things you just like Armin, the things you've done for people. I hear how you talk about. You went around, found this talent, gave this talent an opportunity to be seen by the world. Look at the people you was involved with. Chris Brown, you know, and one of my friends that's watching, she's gonna get mad about this, but I'm saying Chris Brown, the best dancer out there. I know my phone will ring later. You're gonna dance better than Michael Jackson. Let me tell you something.
Right.
That was the man, but Chris Brown is on another level. That boy, Virginia boy, woo, yeah. So man, so you got out the military, you know, for your family, pretty much.
Yes.
And you'll continue blessing. So after you got out, you got that job. What else did you do You kept on continuing doing things. What happened after that?
Yeah, so after I got out and NPR, NPR was a great stop for me. It was just a regular government contract. And we came on. Armand had a ton of influence over there. What was the first director we had over there, Armand? What was his name?
Glenn Hadley.
We called him Chief. Is that who that was?
Glenn Hadley, yeah.
Glenn, was there, and then we had some other people that came in involved. But Armand kept his influence. He was just a smart guy, man. He knew how to implement things. He knew how to maneuver people and talent. He was making things happen, and people didn't even know. He was like in the background, like dangling people around and moving people around. So he was really good at that and positioning people and seeing what their strengths were. So I went from NPRI. And then I was living in York at the time, but I wasn't really spending a lot of time in York. I was just going back and forth to Middle River, coming home, and calling it quits. But I've always had a knack for wanting to have real estate. That's something that sparked my interest a lot from Philadelphia, and just seeing abandoned buildings in Philadelphia, row homes that just abandoned with trash in them. You know what I mean? And I'm always thinking about, how can we rehab this community? How can we do that? And then I took my first leap of faith and brought a multi-unit property. While I was in the government, I took my my IRA and took some money and borrowed it from myself and paid myself back. That's something that, I used to actually, I want to back up because Wallace can attest to this. I used to teach people at NPRI how to save their money. I was big on showing people how to invest, what to do, and then telling them. People like Renee and who are your other cousins down there? What's my guy? Demetrius, Demetrius,
Dimitri and Lodi.
Yeah, Lodi was up there.
Yeah. So, and then other people in there, just how to invest your money, and it's a no brainer. Even if they're giving 3%, that's 3% that you can earn. You know what I mean? So I would tell them that I would work with them, show them how to go about doing that. And that was where I kind of started, really just kind of helping people and helping them understand what their financial, creating generational wealth, what their financial situation is, and how to understand that. And that was really big. So that's how I started getting influence and people, using my people skills. But going back forward, I would said that to say that I had so much money in my IRA that I can borrow against it. And I took that money and I bought my first property. And it was one of the scariest things that I did. And I'm a person that, back then we didn't have internet to teach us that type of stuff. You either had to get a hands-on, or you had to know somebody that knew what they were doing.
Absolutely.
So I did it hands-on. I learned as I went. I fixed that property up. I bought this property for $13,000. They wanted $25,000, and I bought my first single-family home, row home, for $13,000.
Right.
And paid myself back. I invested in it. I fixed it up. It needed some work, a roof, kitchen, and stuff like that. And I still got that property to this day. So, and then I started kind of learning how to maneuver my money around, learning about, equity in the home, learning about, just leveraging different things to try to buy more properties and create, do it over and over and over again, so to speak. So I started going from single family houses and I went to multi-unit houses.
Right.
I see more value in buying multi-units. So I got a few of those. I got two commercial properties right now. They got like 5 units a piece in them, maybe 6 units in them, and a restaurant in it. So, and then I bought a whole block at one point. So as I started kind of learning and understanding and leveraging my money and investing, because I felt like while I was working for DLA after that NPR contract left, I started working for DLA, and I said that I didn't want to. You see what's happening right now. I still would be Department of Defense, but you see what's happening where I didn't want that to be my future, where somebody can dictate and tell me, and tell me, all right, well, we don't need you no more. You know what I mean? And forcing people to do certain things that they don't want to do.
Right.
So I always kept that in the back of my mind, and I always wanted residual income. To support my family and be able. Now I have a trust that I utilize that you know, have all my family in it. It has my wife, it has my kids. It's a whole trust that all my properties is in that trust. So that's, you know, more that, you know, I want to teach people about that process and why that is important, because a lot of times what happens is the government takes our properties from taxes.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, we had grandma's house, they owe taxes, they owe water bill, and then our family starts fighting over it. You know what I mean? Because nobody don't know who's going to get the property. But as 2 or 3 and 5 years is happening, you owe taxes on it.
Right.
You know, so when you have a trust, you don't have to wait that time frame. You know, you have already outlined who's your trustees, and you can start collecting rent, and you can start, you know, not worrying about, you know, who owns it. So, you know, that's the thing now that I'm really want to get into and tell people how to, you know, set their trusts up for their families and create that generational wealth. But yeah, that's what I did. And then I started kind of getting into politics a little bit. I helped, shout out to my friend Lou Rivera, who was running for city council. A great friend of mine. He taught me so much in the political landscape. He came in rolling, and I was one of his good friends that helped him on the political side of things. And then we were going to make a run for mayor for him, and we wound up not doing that. But it showed me how important it is for us to be in politics, how it is to have representation on city council, how it is representation at, you know, county commissioners, what these people are doing with the purse strings and how they allocating funding to nonprofits, you know, all of these different intricacies that occur in politics, and it's happening right around us. So I wanted to kind of learn how to tap into that, understand my influence, understand how to leverage my influence. And then, you know, started meeting the governor and just different people, you know, just being in those circles and creating those relationships. And that catapulted me into so many different rooms where my name started becoming a household name.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm gonna turn you over to Armin now.
Oh, thank you.
Here's your chance. Here's your chance to give a shout out. You see that right there? Who's that?
That's Orlando. That's my guy.
That's your guy. Go give him a shout out real quick.
Yo, Orlando, was good, bro. Good seeing you. Thanks for tapping in. I appreciate it, bro.
So now, Fred.
Yep.
Right. We know timing is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what does, in your words, being in the right place at the right time means?
It's, you know, I'm gonna back up. It's you got to be ready already, you know. So going back to what Roger said about my bio, when you guys asked me information, it was already there. Boom, 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 boom. So when you in these rooms, you got to be ready. It ain't no, I'll be right back. You know, you got to be on point and ready. So I say just being ready and being in the right place at the right time, and creating those places for you to be in, knowing when to get into these rooms and how to talk, how to communicate. This is important, especially for us as Blacks, because you can get. I've seen plenty of people be in rooms, but when I get into a room, I'm talking different. My language and my body language is different. Just like when Armand or Roger, when y'all get into a room, people know when Armand get into a room or they see him next to somebody, they know that it's going to another level. They know your platform is being spoken about. Roger, you know when you see him next to this person and the picture show up, they coming on the show. You know what I mean? Because he knows what he needs to do when he gets into those rooms. He's ready. He's able to articulate it in that room. So, you know, it's really important about being ready when you're in those rooms and knowing how to communicate that and what topics to talk about. Sometimes you only got 3 to 5 minute pitch to talk to somebody. You got to make an impact. You got to make an impact immediately because you people work in the room. My partner, shout out to my partner, for Four Squares, Anthony Moore. He tells me all the time when Fred is in the room, like he's an introvert more than me, but he says he sees me in the room and he sees me work in the room. Man, it's definitely something amazing that's ready to happen. So, you know, it's being in the right place at the right time, but creating the right place and the right time for you.
Boom. That's it, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. Talk a little bit about the power of relationships. What does that mean to you?
Man, what power of relationships mean to me is that, you know, you never know. So I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna use this one fresh right here. I didn't know Wallace was going to be a podcast for, future, legends and past legends. But because we had this relationship and we are able to meet, he can call me anytime and say, Fred, I need you to come on the show. It ain't even about no financial, none of that. That's because he has that relationship. He was my supervisor. We never fell out. We had a ton of respect for each other. We treated each other like individuals. So, having those relationships and knowing how to leverage them, relationships are more valuable than money.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're very, and they say and it's another term they say your network is your net worth.
That's right. I heard that before.
I think that goes over people's head. Your network is your net worth.
Come on.
Right.
So in knowing that and understanding that and applying that is important. So I've always been a person. I've been on, my military career. You guys know we moved around a lot. We took flights and stuff like that. I always took the opportunity to get to know who's on my left and who's on my right. Who is this person? You know what I mean? How in
Absolutely.
The future, I've gotten invited to Canada, to places, people that was just a dentist. It was like, hey, come on out. You go out there and you create that relationship. But that all came from the military as well. Understanding how relationships. I know Sergeant Major might say, hey, Fred, I want you to come over to my unit. I got a spot for logistics. Right. I'm pulling you over here.
Oh yeah, we go get what we want now.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, or I'm gonna call your what was that person? What's that person that used to be at DA that damn, what was their name? What was their position? I can't remember, but whenever you re-enlist or whenever you
the re-enlistment guy, or you talking about the assignment branch?
Yeah, assignment branch. Yeah. So a major might know somebody at the assignment branch that can get you over to his unit or get you, so those relationships played major. And I learned that real early in the military and understanding how, things get maneuvered. So I applied that in the civilian world. And I just multiplied that with my network, so I can make a call. A lot of people in Europe never really understood how I was able to call celebrities, like Gilly the Kid, how I can get Wallow here. A lot of them go through me, but it's about the relationship. And then you got to be talking some sense. Sometimes it ain't just about calling somebody to come. You got to be able to put some money in their pocket. You got to be able to talk the right thing.
Right.
Everything isn't always a favor. Some things you pay for and say, hey, listen, bro, I got somebody that want to book you. They got, $20,000 or $30,000 or whatever the case may be. And you put that in their pocket and they relate, they respect that. You know what I mean? And different things, we learned this as well when it came to rewarding people. Some people like time off. Some people like money. Some people like, different things. You got to figure out what that niche is in every person. And, those valuable lessons from the military helped me with that as well.
That's good talk. That's powerful. Go ahead, Raj.
Yeah, I was, remembering off your bio at Army, when Fred was born, we was in 10th grade.
Well, in 10th grade, Sammy, that's crazy.
We was in 10th grade.
Wow.
He was born 75, right?
Yeah. But he talk crazy to me all the time. I see you got the golf hat on. Armand talk crazy to me all the time. He be saying, I call him, he tell me, yeah, that's what retirees do. I'm like, yeah. You're like, yeah. And Wallace be like, yeah. That's what retirees do, man. I'm at the gym right now and I call you back. I'll be dying, man. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because I don't really, I don't do the golf thing. Never did. But you're right. It's a lot of things, and it's awesome that you apply what you learned in the military. And it brought back some memories because the guy that was in charge of assignments for assignment branch was a guy named Master Sergeant Sanchez. Well, Command Sergeant Major Parker was his drill sergeant. So I would pick the phone up and say, hey, I need this person, such and such. And he'd be like, Sergeant Major, when you need him, I need him. Boom. I never went through the proponency Sergeant Major. And she would get pissed. And she would call me on the phone, Roger, how did you get such and such? I said, it just came down on levy. but nobody knew that I was Sanchez drill sergeant. So
Right.
when he made E8, right? He called me on the phone and say, "Hey, Sergeant Major, I need a first sergeant position." I said, "Put yourself on levy column my battalion." You know, and
That's how it worked.
yeah, and he ended up being a sergeant major because he got there first on time.
Right.
You know, but it's all good, you know, and people don't understand. But what you said about your net worth is your net worth. The reason why people don't, and that's a great analogy. But the reason why people don't understand that, Alma understood it, I understood it, is because they don't know their worth. See?
Yeah.
They don't know their worth. So they don't know their net worth is their net worth. They don't know that. They know the first part is money. But if you don't know what your worth is,
that's true.
You'll never get the second part.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and with you, you're not only, when you talked about the trust, I got a couple of trusts too. When you talk about certain people about trust, they don't know what you're talking about. But if you look at some of the movies, you know, you got to pay attention. In the movies, some of the things they tell you apply to you. Like Bad Boys. What they kept saying about Will Smith, his family left him a trust.
Yeah.
That's he riding around all these expensive cars because they don't know. You know, trust will protect those government people from getting your stuff, and also help you on income tax because really, you running the trust. You don't own it, you're running it, but you can take what you need from it to survive. You can say, "Well, I get paid $30,000 a year from this trust." That's the only thing they're gonna hit you on.
Yeah.
See, and people don't understand that. So you say you wanted to teach people about that. Do you have classes or anything? A website that you go to?
So let me tell y'all how I got onto this. And again, shout out to my man. His name is Ronell Harris. That's his government name, but his name is Echo. And he gave me this analogy one day, right? He said, own nothing but control everything.
Boom. I was getting ready to say that. Beat me to it.
This boy said, Wallace, he said, but and this is a person who a lot of people, they think he crazy. They think he be saying stuff. And he did a lot of research. And he said this to me, and I thought he was crazy. I was like, what? I'm used to owning everything. What are you talking about? Own nothing and control everything. What? That sounds crazy. And he sat me down. He sat me and my partner, Anthony Moore, down at our office and showed us this video. And, you know, I was hooked. And that's what started my journey. And he kind of navigated me and assisted me with setting that up and understanding it. And, you know, I went to a couple, you know, you can go to a couple lawyers and all that stuff like that. But, you know, things are so simplified now, you can figure it out. But that's what started. That's what put my antennas up. I had all this property. And now you're thinking about your family. You're thinking about your generational wealth. You don't want nobody to be able to take that from you. So I wanted to make sure. I'm telling you, Roger and Wallace, I was so nervous during this whole time because it takes a while. It takes a while to set up, you know, because you gotta talk about your kids. You know, you got to talk about, you know, you got to put your insurance, you know, your insurance policies into it. You got to change a lot of things.
Right.
Because your insurance policies to go into that trust. This is how, you know, Rockefeller and all of them built all of these, you know, created generational wealth with themselves, as they would have an insurance policy. All my kids got insurance policies. So that insurance policy, if it's $1 million, is going into the trust. And then those kids get to utilize that money to build more generational wealth. They may invest it in, but they all got to agree. They may invest it in real estate. They may invest it in tech. They may invest it in something else, but they have to make that decision all together. So yeah, you know, I want to start kind of doing it. And I have a nonprofit as well. It's called Four Squares Feeds, where we're doing some of that work now through people who are incarcerated that's coming home, trying to help with the recidivism, trying to educate them with trades because of our construction company. So that's some key components that's in our slide deck that we want to continue to you know, teach, which is the financial literacy part.
That's big too. That's awesome. Yeah, you know, folk need stuff when they come out. You know, just everybody. You know, a guy told me this one time. Never forget it. It was a JAG officer. He was leaving out because he had made 1 star. He was 06 Colonel Smith, I used to talk to him all the time. We used to be at the gym playing ball. And he said, you know what, Sergeant Major? He said, everybody that's in jail is not bad. Mm-hmm. And growing up how we grew up, no, only bad people go to jail. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people get, as you get older, you know, you get hooked up in things. You might didn't do something, but you was there. Those the individuals that you're targeting, because they want to come out and make up for the time that they left, that they lost. And people like you are a godsend. So hopefully, you know, you get all the folk that you need, or they realize, because you're going to get some knuckleheads going to roll up in there. Man, I ain't doing that. Fred don't know what he's talking about. Look at Fred's house. Mm-hmm. Look what Fred got. And then come back and tell me again. Come back and tell me again, Fred don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I've had to do that. I've had to do that. You know, my pastor, Pastor Walthour, we had a thing called the Community Street Soldiers. And we used to go door to door. Every Wednesday, we would go in the neighborhood and we would talk to people. We would create a liaison between the city, government, and the residents. We would pray for people while we were out there. And we started kind of mentoring these kids. You know, it was real new. So we were trying to figure out how to get into these kids and mentor them. And we had a bunch of kids sitting at the table. And I told Pastor, I said, hey, I could see that these kids felt like Pastor was old. He don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
And and me being a young cat and they didn't know that I was in music either. But I knew that music influenced these kids.
Right.
I told Pastor, I said, Pastor, let's break. I took the kids. I said, yo, listen, I took them to the block. I told y'all earlier that I owned the block. And I told him, I said, I own this whole block. I took him inside. I said, I'm renovating this right now. And he was a big component. Rest in peace to P&B Rock. P&B Rock got killed in California. He was from Philadelphia. He was a big fan of him. And I got P&B Rock's manager on the phone. And I wanted him to talk to this kid. You should have seen his face. And I said, see, next time, you never know who you're sitting next to.
Right. Absolutely.
You never know what somebody else know or who they know. Man, his face lit up. And to this day, he went into the reserves. I helped him through that process.
Right.
He called me, you know, when, you know, he's trying to make life decisions, but that woke him up. And, you know, sometimes we can't get to those kids just by being in the classroom. You have to let them know that you're mover and shaker, because it's a different world. It's a different generation. You know, when we were younger, we had respect for the older people. We could listen to them. We had respect from people coming home from jail telling you like, yo, yeah, that ain't something you want to do. You know, now it's different, you know, so I had to shift and change the times and really, you know, get into these kids. But yeah, that's something I had to do actually is, you know, show them.
Yeah. You know, so you talking about, you know, you was a young guy. Fred, you the young guy on this show. I just
I'll be 50 in 2 days. I don't feel young no more.
Man, I remember being 15 years ago. I'm going to turn you over to Army, brother.
Oh, okay, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Captain, Philadelphia Eagle football team.
Also, see that trophy in the back. What's that trophy back there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so you are also a minority owner of the 2024 York Revolution Championship team. Championship team of what? What was that?
So they are a minor league baseball team. We're a feeder. We're independent. We're a feeder team. We're not owned by any other like major league team. So we sent up probably a few players last year. So they'll come to York Revolution. You know, they come from Dominican Republic. They coming from Puerto Rico, and we giving these people opportunities to play in the minor leagues, and then we ship them off to the major leagues. And you know, it's been great seeing some of these people move up. You know, I think that was in 2019, and I want to shout out Jules Tolbert, which is an influential guy for me in York. He was the one that asked me and my partner if we wanted to be owners of a baseball team. And it was a no-brainer. We were like, yeah. And we jumped at the opportunity. A lot of people don't know how we became owners. They just know that we were. But Jules was very intricate in that. He was a mover and shaker. He was very big on seeing leaders in the community and seeing so that other people can see Black leaders become owners. They felt like a lot of their leadership was older, ready to phase out, and he wanted to bring some new blood in. He wanted to bring some people in that can see things from a different perspective, and he was very intricate in helping us become owners, and that was a big deal out here, because there was a lot of racism, a lot of tension out in York from 50 years ago. And a lot of the older people still hold on to that. It's a lot of division. You have families. I'm quite sure it was in Annapolis at some point as well, where you only had five families who controlled the whole entire city. And, we were breaking through some of those barriers. And Jules was very intricate in saying, hey, I want these guys to be, owners of the revolution. And, that was, we started I talked to Armand offline while I was backstage. Kwame was one of the people who I was managing at the time, and we made him a brand ambassador because he was a rapper. He had a lot of influence. We held back to school events there. We gave tickets out to the whole entire all the high schools, all the junior high schools, all the elementary schools, so they can come and enjoy games at the York Revolution Stadium. They can also, we would, talk to them and let them see that I look like you. I'm a person that you can see yourself in. And I come through some of the same corridors that y'all deal with and come through. So we would have those talks with them and, just kind of really give them inspiration and let them know that they can be somebody in this world.
Absolutely.
And provide them hope with hope.
That's awesome. So you're also a husband, right? Your husband and your father of how many?
Yeah, so I have 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. Shout out to my wife when we got married. That was a prerequisite. She said, "Yeah, we had." I was done. She was like, "Yeah, we having 2 more kids." I'm like, "Nah." She's like, "Well." So my daughter is 25. One is 17. She's graduating this year. My other daughter went to Bowie State. Amaya, she's going to be a nurse, and then I got 2 little ones that's 3 and 4. They stair steppers. So yeah. It's been crazy. They keep me young. They definitely keep me young.
My sister graduated from Bowie.
Yeah. So definitely, man. And balancing the businesses. My wife, she teaches at Coppin State University. Okay. Shout out to Coppin. Yeah, okay. Master's level students. She just got home not too long ago. She teaches there two nights a week. Okay. And our goal when we got married was like one of the things that we talked about was giving back to the community because we've been so successful in our lives. The military helped both of us. She was in the military as a reservist. We actually met in the military at Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Doing all in Fort Knox, all that gold, and you pulled her. I heard you.
Yeah. So it was that was a great time. We got reunited and it's been since 2016 that we've been married and we got 2 kids now.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I'm gonna pass you over to Roger, let him ask you another question, then I will allow you to drop a nugget to all the guests out there well, we'll get to that point. Go ahead, Raj.
Yeah, we don't want you to drop a nugget. We want you to drop a whole gold bar. that way they get it, But I'm going to take this opportunity and just go on and get a platform right to you. So I know it's people looking. So go on and go ahead and input some wisdom in them folks.
Yeah, I just, again, I just want to kind of say a few things is that this is my first time really bringing these worlds together. I did a great job of compartmentalizing my life. You guys probably have the same thing. You have your military life, you have your civilian life, you have your military friends, your civilian friends. I have my York, my Philadelphia, and I never really talked about those compartments of my life ever. I kind of left them where they were at. Philadelphia was in Philadelphia. Never talked about it too much, except that I was from there. My military life was my military life. Never kind of talked about that. But I want to thank you guys for allowing me this platform to do that, because I've never done that. People in York don't know I used to work at NPRI or any of that. But you know, I want people to tell their stories. I want people to really continue to pay it forward. I think it's important, especially in this day and time today, right now.
Absolutely.
And what's going on.
Yeah.
And you know, there may be some times with the way that is looking with you know, the administration that's going on, that, you know, we might have to move back altogether again, because, you know, we that's where we came from, but we're resilient.
Right.
Say it again.
I say you're absolutely right.
Yeah, we're resilient. We've been here before. We've dealt with these types of scenarios and situations in the past, and I want people to stay encouraged, to stay prayed up, and know that, you know, that this isn't our final destination. To continue to have faith, because for a while I was losing it, and you know, and just seeing everything that's going on. So, you know, look for a mentor, look for, you know, your spiritual advisor, and continue to keep pushing through. And let's continue as a what's the term I'm looking for? As a people, to continue to push others to higher levels. And you know, don't talk yourself out of opportunities. Put yourself in the right place, by any means, and continue to, you know, just navigate this world, because it's tough. And you know, we gotta look at things from a perspective of creating that next generation of leaders, because Armand, like I said, he was a leader in this aspect, and he was somebody that we could look towards. And I learned a lot in watching him do things, and you know, that went to me, and now I have to pay that forward to others, young leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And not lose faith in the way that things are. I want to drop this other nugget. You know, even when we were young, that generation didn't like us. They didn't like the way that we were going.
Right.
You know what I mean? We got to embrace this generation. We got to figure out how to relate to them, because they was saying our generation was the worst and it was crazy and things was happening. You know.
Right.
You know, so I want to continue to embrace this next generation as much as possible, the ones that understand, and continue to teach our history, because history is getting lost. They throwing books out of the schools now. They don't want to, you know, they don't want to talk about you know, Black history at all. So, you know, we got to continue to teach them and help them understand that.
You know, Fred, I am really proud of you, man. You have been an inspiration, not just in your community, but believe it or not, man, you touch more people than you probably think you have. Now, I want to thank you for being on the show tonight, man. This won't be the last, man.
Thank you.
I encourage you and your wife to make it to our event on the 22nd of March. All right, I will send you details later tonight. After the show, I'll send it to you. On how you can purchase your tickets. That's one way you can purchase it, right there on screen. You know, but it would be an honor and a pleasure to have you there. You know, and everyone that's out there, we want to thank you for being on the show tonight, watching the show. We ask that you come back next week. Next month is Women's History Month, and we have a surprise for you next week. You don't want to miss it. Fred, thank you again.
Thank y'all.
Nobody said, well spoken, and everything. You know, I've just always been impressed with you. Bro. Always.
Thank you.
You know, when you first walked through the door at NPR, you know what I said? I said, that's probably going to be out of Virginia. You know what I did? This is what I did. I created another spot, the People section, right? I'm gonna supervise that section and let him have the receiving section.
Yeah, he made a way. He made a way.
How sharp you were, and you still are, bro. I'm really, you stand out. You know,
but it takes people like yourself to create those opportunities, Wallace. And I've had a lot of people do that for me. You know, and I don't want nobody to feel like they could just do it alone. It's people like yourself. Whether people nowadays, these kids don't want to give people credit. They want to act like, oh, I did this all on my own. Nah, I can't say that. It's so many people, and I want to take this before we close out, because I know you're about to close out. But so many people gave me opportunities. I want to, you know, shout out Pat Boyd. I already talked about Jules. I want to shout out Renee because she's like a champion for me, man, down in Annapolis, man. She talks about me all the time. Tanya Larry, who's here in Europe, who helps out a lot with a lot of stuff I do. Edward Beverly, who was one of the first artists that I managed. I talked about Echo already. And Morris Gandy. Rest in peace to Morris Gandy. I named my company after him. He was one of my brother's dads. And he's a former military guy as well. And I looked up to him. He upshaped me and encouraged me. So shout out to him. And thank you again, y'all, for allowing me this platform.
Thank you for coming. I noticed you had a little flashback when I was talking to you. I almost did a push-up. Fred say again. I said, oh, I'm ready to get down and start knocking them out. And it hit me and say, damn, you the sergeant major. I said, oh, okay. Flashback for a second. I said, shit. I thought it was 79. Private Parker back out here again.
I'm gonna leave you with what Lodi said. He said, "You see what he said?"
Yeah, he said you worked the hell out of me. Yeah, he did. No. He did. He probably was torturing me for a little bit. He seen me coming. He seen me coming, Sergeant Major. He said, "Hold on, I gotta do something with this guy. He's coming."
Yeah. But he's smart enough to maneuver to make it look like he's going to a better place, but in actuality, he was running from you.
He was smart. He definitely was smart. Definitely.
Hey, look, Deja, where are you, Deja?
There she go.
There she is. Let's give it up for Deja, man. Deja works hard. She's in school.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You gotta get Deja out the mountains, though.
She look, you know, she was asleep. She just woke up. You know that, right?
No, I wasn't sleeping.
Hey, hold tight, Fred. Go ahead, close us out, Deja.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye, Deja.
We hope to see you guys soon.
Bye, Deja. See, I said it right.
Yeah, you said it right.